We all carry a basic assumption about the math of a long, hard-working life. You put in decades of labor, and at the end of it all, you expect to leave something tangible behind, a physical inheritance to pass to the next generation. 3 siblings gathered in their childhood home to settle their father's estate. These were people who thoroughly understood how to build wealth. Arun ran a highly profitable construction empire, and Mira managed a massive investment portfolio. To them, a successful life was measured in assets, properties, and quarterly returns. They looked at their father's lifetime of continuous work as an equation that had to balance. They fully expected to uncover a hidden fortune, a quiet savings account, or a piece of land tucked away. Instead, the estate lawyer handed them 3 paper envelopes. Inside, they found no property deeds and no bank account numbers, only a single handwritten letter for each of them. The truth was, the family's assets had vanished years ago. The original home had been sold off to cover mounting medical debts, and the surrounding farmland had dried up during consecutive years of drought. Arun and Mira were completely baffled. Their father had worked relentlessly until his final days, and they couldn't comprehend how all that physical labor could simply evaporate into zero net worth. This illustrates a legacy deficit. On one side, 40 years of consistent labor inputs. On the other side, the material output sits at exactly 0. A zero balance breaks every conventional rule of wealth accumulation Arun and Mira used to build their careers. Measured strictly by the metrics of material capitalism, their father's entire existence looked like a massive, unrecouped expense. The numbers didn't add up, leaving a glaring question. Where exactly did all his energy go? The quiet tension of the empty reading room broke when a knock rattled the front door. Then another, and another. Within minutes, the small house filled with a crowd that defied any single demographic. Local doctors carrying flowers stood next to bakers bringing fresh bread, police officers, teachers, and mechanics. The lawyer opened his notebook and explained that the father had kept a very different kind of record. He recorded every act of support while insisting that every financial loan be forgotten. This crowd was his actual ledger. The siblings realized they had been auditing the wrong accounts. They needed to stop searching for where the missing money was hidden and start listening to exactly where their father's time had been invested. One by one, the visitors shared their records. A widow explained how the father had spent days repairing her roof before the monsoon season. A young man described how the old man sold his only bicycle just to pay another family's school fees. These acts represented a strategic injection of resources into the community's future. Notice how the investment compounds. That single bicycle sold to keep a kid in school eventually yielded a practicing doctor, who then went on to save dozens of lives in that very same village. Financial capital remains static, while human capital replicates itself continuously. Arun suddenly remembered the evenings he spent begging his father to stay home and build the family business. He realized those hours spent in the village had actually been spent constructing a community empire. A lasting legacy comes from the intentional, righteous reallocation of your time and your character into the lives of others. As sunset painted the windows gold, the visitors dispersed. The house returned to silence, but the atmosphere inside had entirely shifted. Arun looked around at the peeling paint and the worn, dated furniture. The space was exactly the same as it had been an hour ago, but its actual worth had been entirely revalued in his mind. The siblings finally understood the purpose of the letters. Each page contained a practical blueprint for how to live a meaningful life. A bank account or a living room is only truly empty if it lacks the residue of human impact. In that moment, the decaying walls of their childhood home held more value than any of the corporate mansions Arun had ever constructed. Every physical thing we build with our hands, whether it's a towering monument or a multinational corporation, will eventually fade, degrade, and disappear. Character operates on a different timeline. A life spent lifting up others achieves a kind of immortality, self-replicating through the generations of people it touched. Instilling goodness in the world provides a legacy that outlasts any amount of money saved for heirs. A righteous heart leaves a legacy that wealth cannot buy.